What's up, guys, and welcome to Making a Video Game. Today I am very happy to be interviewing Ian Proulx from 1047 Games, who is the creator of Splitgate, and I'm very excited to talk to him today. Thank you for taking the time, Ian.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
Now, as I stated before, Ian is the creator of Splitgate Arena Warfare, which, if you think about Halo multiplayer, but you have the portal gun from the Portal games, you can teleport behind people, you can shoot people through your portals, all kinds of crazy stuff like that. But first and foremost, let's get some of the basics out of the way. Ian, I was wondering if you could tell me, where did gaming begin for you? Where did you get your love for video games?
Yeah, so I've been a gamer my whole life. First console was Nintendo 64. And Game Boy Color. I really got into gaming. I mean, I loved, Zelda, Smash Bros. But when I really got into it was with Halo 2 on Xbox, and that was kind of my first exposure to online gaming. And that's when I really fell in love with gaming and started looking at, watching MLG pros play, and just kept, sticking with. Was a big gamer my whole life, but. Then, when I went to college, I went to Stanford and studied computer science, and was thinking about what I wanted to do with my life. And I knew that, gaming was always my passion, and same as my co-founder, Nick. And both of us just kind of had this idea of combining an FPS with portals. And so we started working on it while we were at Stanford, and ultimately decided, we love what we're doing. This is a game that we want to play. Like, let's keep doing this. And that's really how it started.
Now, you kind of played it down a little bit, but you were actually pretty good at Halo, is that right?
Yeah, I played a ton of Halo, but I never played like professionally or anything, but I was level 50 in Halo 3, and for Halo 5 got to top 500. So I played a lot.
In the world, right? Not just like regionally, but you were like 500 in the world, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's, again, I think you played it down a little bit, but you were actually pretty good, and looking at the game, you can definitely tell that it seems like Halo had an impact on your vision, for sure.
Yes, definitely. I mean, especially Halo 1, 2, and 3. I mean, I liked 5 a lot. I did not like 4, but even compared to 5, I mean, to me, 2 and 3 were just such perfect games that I just don't think that the newer ones even come close to Halo 2 and 3. So that's something we're really trying to bring back, is that old school, competitive, and just like simple gameplay.
Now, as you stated, Halo was a pretty big inspiration for this game, and obviously you played a lot of it, so that would make sense. But you also bring in this teleportation mechanic as well. Were you into the Portal games as well?
Oh, yeah.
Or did you just like the mechanic?
No, I was totally into Portal. I mean, that's probably my second favorite single-player game is Portal 2, behind Last of Us. But love the Portal games. I just think that mechanic is probably the coolest mechanic I've ever seen in a game. And I mean, honestly, it just started as a very simple idea of like, I love this idea, let's put guns in the game. And then it sort of evolved into like, wow, this really works. And, what type of gameplay would we like to see? I mean, there was a discussion early on where we were talking about like, should this have a Call of Duty feel? Should this have a Quake feel? Should this have a Halo feel? And ultimately, we felt like Halo was sort of the sweet spot that also was kind of missing in the market right now.
Okay, and even to the extent of where you have an announcer that's similar to Halo as well, right?
So the current one, we're actually looking for a replacement announcer. The current one is very similar, but we actually have kind of a unique vision for what we want to do with our announcer. It's pretty cool. So, and I can talk more about that. But basically, we want to have our announcer announce it like a sport instead of announcing it like, a death match.
Okay.
And that's why you'll see reflected with our visuals, there's a lot of scoreboards around the map and big screens and lights. Mm-hmm. And we really want to push that kind of almost like a Rocket League art style to a certain extent. But one of the things we want to do with our announcer is, instead of announcing it just in your head, you're on a killing spree, you hear it yourself. We want to announce it you know, just as if you're watching a sporting game and you hear like LeBron James for 3.
Yeah.
You know, I want to hear Cardinal Soldier is on a killing spree, and everyone in the game hears that. And that's something that we think could actually be like a really actually fair microtransaction, would be sell you your name, where we'll actually record it. And, you know, we'll have a list of nicknames by default, but we want to have that possibility of like, hey, if you want to get your name out there, we'll actually record your name, put it in the game, so that every time you go on a killing spree, it's announced to the world.
That is very unique, and I love that idea.
Yeah.
So before I get too far into the game, let me take one step back again. So 1047 Games, is this the first game that you and Nick have worked on in a professional setting, or did you guys do mods before this, or any coding before this?
So both of us are programmers. We both studied computer science at Stanford. But in terms of like professional games, neither of us have actually made anything like in industry. We've both kind of messed around. You know, I did a school project of like a Unity-based game that was just a very like, you know, 3-week project of just basically shooting enemies. Yeah, this is our first actual game. We have had a lot of we have a lot of industry experience on our team, though. Like, many of our artists have worked on AAA titles.
So how big is your team now?
It's up to 26 people right now.
Wow, that's quite a bit of people right now.
Yeah, I mean, it started off just the 2 of us, and then about 6 months in development, we hired an artist, and then 2 months later, we hired a level designer and an animator, and it was basically just that core group until we got funding about a year, or yeah, almost a year ago, and then that's when we were able to really expand the team and just kind of our ambitions.
So, can you tell me a little bit about 1047 Games? Like, that name is actually significant to you, correct?
Yeah, so 1047 was the address of the dorm that Nick and I lived in together.
At Stanford?
Yep.
See, I love little nuggets like that. It just makes, you know, development companies, I don't know, it seems to seem more approachable. Love little nuggets of information like that. I knew I had to throw that in there because when I saw that, I thought that was really cool.
Well, we're not very good at coming up with names. I don't know if you know the previous name of our game. It used to be called Wormhole Wars.
Yes, and I was going to ask you about that. What you know initiated the name change?
Yeah. So the whole name story, we actually originally called it Portal Wars.
Okay.
And Valve approved it, and then randomly 2 months later, they changed their mind and said they wanted us to change it. So. And it was kind of critical timing because we were just getting ready to go to Gamescom. So we were like, okay, we got to come up with something fast. What is a synonym for portal? Okay, wormhole. Well, okay, let's go with that. And we never were huge fans of the name. But, you know, our thought was like, okay, we don't have much time. It's kind of, you know, it's descriptive. You know, we'll grow to like it. But we just never actually grew to like it.
Okay.
So... for a while, we had intended like, all right, we'll come up with a new name, but we just could not come up with anything. And so literally, I mean, months went by. We're like, all right, we just set ourselves these deadlines that we would never, and we just never would come up with anything good. So finally, we scheduled an interview with IGN to cover the name change that we didn't actually know what the name was. So we're like, all right, here's our deadline. Like, so we kind of narrowed it down. I mean, this was like weeks of just brainstorming, hours every day. Yeah, we narrowed it down to like 5 last options, and Splitgate. We had our community vote, and that was the first choice, was Splitgate Arena Warfare. But we also wanted to take into account people who hadn't heard of the game yet, because, you know, it's one thing to know what a game is and hear a name versus like, what does someone think when they hear it for the first time, knowing nothing about it. Okay. So actually, I went to GameStop actually for like 3 hours and interviewed every single person that left the building, and it was actually really fun. But we just showed them this list. You know, hey, can we talk to you for a few minutes? We're making this game. We didn't tell them anything about it. We just basically, the two questions were, you know, how do you like these names? Rank them. And when you hear this name of our final 5, what type of genre of game do you think it is? And Wormhole Wars was by far the last choice of everyone we interviewed.
Really?
And Splitgate was actually like the overwhelming first choice. Yeah, and it was really good feedback too, because most of the, like, pretty much 90% of the people, like, they heard Splitgate Arena Warfare, and they all thought, like, okay, it's probably a shooting game, or an arena shooter. And Wormhole Wars, you know, we'd get like, oh, it sounds like, you know, maybe a little kid's game, or maybe like an RTS or something.
Right.
So that was very insightful. But yeah, I mean, given that the community and the, you know, random gamers at GameStop all thought that was the best choice, it was a no-brainer, and we were really happy with it.
That's awesome. Hearing that you guys just like reached out to not only your community, but like people that may not even know. You know, you went to the gamers and asked their opinion.
Yeah, that was actually the day before the meeting with IGN also. So we were
really
getting desperate to. We were really happy.
So did you I guess lose a lot in marketing for Wormhole Wars? Because you said you had to come up with a name before your first convention, right? And you went with Wormhole Wars. Did you lose a lot on that, or did you not really put a lot in that because you knew?
None of those convention. Well, those initial ones, like Gamescom last year, so about a year and a half ago. That was the first one we went to. We didn't actually have a booth there. That was more just about like going, seeing what it was all about, building relationships. So I mean, we obviously lost a little bit of just kind of brand equity that we had built into the initial name, but I think for the most part we haven't really been pushing marketing too much. It's been more like just trying to build relationships with gamers and with streamers. And then I think, you know, we'll do the big kind of mass marketing push right before launch, which will be Q1 of this coming year.
All right, so we mentioned marketing there a little bit, and we also mentioned you guys going to Gamescom and TwitchCon and stuff like that. And I've been seeing a lot of your guys' banners and, you know, posters, stuff on your social media where it says Halo meets Portal. Now, is that something that just fans of yours have been saying and you've kind of been adopting that? Or is that something that you guys have been putting out there yourself? You want them to know that this is a great descriptor of our game, Halo meets Portal.
I think it kind of works both ways. I mean, early on, it started off as like, this is an easy way for us to describe it. But so many people naturally were saying that anyway without us even having to. And that's why, like, you'll notice on our banners, it all says Halo meets Portal in quotes, and it quotes IGN.
Right.
So that's very convenient, because now we don't have to, like, it's not us saying it anymore. It's like, okay, well, this is how IGN described it, which is also how we describe it, which is also how, like, a lot of people describe it.
Right.
But, I mean, I think gamers will see right off the bat, if you play our game, it really has that old Halo 2, Halo 3 feel. And then, obviously, like, it's got the Portal mechanic from Portal. So there's... And it's also, you know, to me, I think it's a huge advantage for us to be able to describe our game pretty accurately. I mean, obviously, there's more to it. We've got jetpacks, and we've got other mechanics and different guns and whatever.
Right.
But being able to kind of summarize it in 3 words is so powerful when you don't have that massive marketing budget that a lot of these AAA companies have. Right. Because it's sort of like, I can tell, like, right off the bat, you can envision what kind of game this is, and you'll remember it. You know, I don't have to go into depth and detail and say, like, you know, our game's really cool because of the story and the AI and, you know, the level design. You know, at that point, I've already lost you, because it's like, well, we'll see when I play it. But for us, it's like, hey, Halo meets Portal. You know, you'll see for yourself. It's very memorable. You mentioned before that on one of the names, you had to ask for Valve's permission. And with this Halo meets Portal thing, you got anybody from, you know, 343 or you know, Valve still breathing down your neck?
You know what I mean? Like looking to see if you guys are like in any way could be copyright infringement on their games or anything like that.
Not at all. Yeah, no, we haven't had any issues at all, and we're very careful to make sure we don't do anything that we're not allowed to.
Right, and I'm sure with everyone claiming the whole Halo meets Portal thing, you guys have been keeping an eye on that pretty close.
Yeah.
You guys have just got back from TwitchCon. How was that? Did you guys have a booth there and all that?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, so we had a 20 by 20 booth. I mean, it honestly was great. We right kind of in the center of the show, like in the main hallway. So a lot of foot traffic, long lines, constantly. We probably had 4 or 5 Halo pros stop by, including Ace, who was awesome. I mean, he sat down, played the game. I mean, he talked with us for 30 minutes, just giving his thoughts on the game. And I mean, we literally went into like a little secret spot on the map and just strafed back and forth, just so that because he was like analyzing the strafing in the game, and it was awesome. And we did a tournament, also a free-for-all tournament. Had a really good turnout for that on Sunday. And one of our actual like current Discord members in our community, Bejesus, he ended up winning. There were like 3 Halo pros in the championship, and he, well, actually he was one of them. He's a former Halo pro, but he stole the gold. So that was awesome, and just met a lot of really good people, good streamers, gamers. I mean, it was great for us. Got a lot of interest in the game.
When you guys were creating this game, did you design it or create it with the intentions for this game to be like a competitive MLG style of video game?
Yeah, I mean, our philosophy early on, I think, has always been we want this to be the next big esport. I think our views have changed a little bit. You know, we've seen some other games that have really pushed esports that have failed. So now our point of view is really like, look, let's just focus on making an awesome game, and the underlying mechanics will lend itself well to esports, and we're going to support it with stuff like a spectator mode and ultimately tournaments and stuff. But for us now, it's like, look, let's make a game that's easy to learn, difficult to master, and let the community take it in that direction if that's what it wants to do, which we think it will. But you know, we don't want to make the mistake of just like really pushing that too hard too early.
When I first played this game, it was earlier this year. It was back when it was still called Wormhole Wars, and it was in alpha. And I gotta say, even back then, like this game, it didn't play like an alpha game. Like I played some alpha games, and this game did not play like an alpha game. You guys, I mean, now that you say you have, you know, more than just you and Nick there, you have like 20 some odd people there. I believe that now, because when I saw that and I thought, man, this game is built by 2 people. This is not an alpha game. This does not play like an alpha game at all. You guys had it together from the beginning.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I agree and I appreciate it. No, but I mean, I think the reason that we call it an alpha, honestly, we could have been in early access now if we really wanted to, but I think that sort of goes against our philosophy, and really from the get-go, it's always been like, let's do this the right way, what we believe is the right way, which is if we want to make an esport, let's make a rock solid game, and let's skip the whole early access thing and just do these free open, you know, free alphas, free betas. And then when the game is rock solid, polished, and bug free, then we'll launch into a final launch.
So as I mentioned before, this game doesn't really play like an alpha. It looks very polished in my opinion. And I know you said you were able to start this while you were still in school, but how far into the development process are you guys? How long have you been working on it so far?
So we started in last January, so it's been 1 year and 10 months.
Wow.
Or almost 11. But I mean, so that was while I was getting my master's and Nick was finishing his senior year. But the 2 of us were, I mean, pretty much we were way ahead in our classes, so we had a lot of free time. And actually, my advisor was really nice and let us count this as like an independent study so that we could get units towards it. So we were able to really push it into high gear while we were in school, and then as soon as we graduated last June. Then we just really picked up the pace.
So you guys were like really open about letting the public play this game. Are you guys still allowing the public to come and request alpha keys off of your Discord server?
We're pretty lenient about giving out keys, but we don't just give everyone keys anymore. We used to do that, but we've had a couple instances, like when Shroud streamed the game, where we just had this massive influx of players spamming our bot, our key bot. And we've also just we've had some issues with requesting too many keys in the past, so we've had to limit it a little bit. But we're basically constantly trying to get more keys from Steam and trying to manage that. We've also had some issues where people grab keys in bulk and sell them. So yeah, we're trying to manage that as best we can, basically. Gotcha. We want to give you a key if you want to play the game. We don't want to give you a key if you're just going to sell it.
Well, you kind of answered one of my next questions there when you mentioned that Shroud played it. I was going to ask, have you noticed like an influx of interest in the game since YouTubers and or Twitch streamers have been playing it?
Oh yeah, and that's actually something we've been really trying to get organized on, is like having a Twitch partner, or having a partner program, whether you're Twitch, Mixer, or YouTube. But we have sort of an incentive structure where you unlock skins and get to name a bot in the game, and obviously free copy of the game, and that's another thing we've been able to kind of help our partners with, is letting them be the ones to distribute alpha keys, because that's something that they can really take advantage of to just engage with their communities. So that's been something we've been trying to do, because obviously, like I said, we don't have the big budget to pay these massive streamers big amounts of money. So having something where we can incentivize them to play through keys and through skins is a really good system for us.
So when do you think players might be able to get their hands on a final release of this game?
So we haven't announced an official release date. We're not going to do early access. We're going to just go straight to final launch.
Oh, wow.
But the final launch is going to be, like I said, Q1, probably March or April-ish. And we'll do an open beta maybe a month or two prior.
So right now, is this going to be a PC-only game, or do you have plans to move it to console?
We would like to come to console eventually, but it's unlikely that we'll be able to pull that off at the same time that we do our PC launch, but it is possible. We're looking into it.
Well, I'm sure there's a lot of people who are relieved to hear that you guys are at least considering the possibility about bringing this to consoles. Now, one final question that I kind of ask at the end of these, and that is, if there's someone out there listening who wants to get their foot in the door in the games industry, whether it become a developer themselves or to get into some sort of art design with games, is there a specific route that you would tell them to go follow, whether it be to school or just pick up a coding book or something like that?
I mean, a lot of it depends on how you want to get into games. Like, do you want to be a coder or an artist or an animator? But honestly, I mean, I would say that there are so many resources out there. For example, like Udemy.com has every sort of game-related course you could think of, whether it's learning Blender or Maya or Unreal Engine or Unity Engine. There's just so many different resources out there. Like, really, Google around, check out Code Academy, check out Udemy. Yeah, there's a lot of resources that you can get yourself into game development if you're interested.
Ian, if there was someone who had a key when the game was called Wormhole Wars, would that key still transfer over to Splitgate? And if someone was still interested on how to keep up with the news of what's going on with this game, and if they wanted a key, how to go about getting a key themselves, could you kind of give us the rundown on all that?
Yeah, so that still works. And if you don't have a key, head to discord.gg/Splitgate, or head to our website, splitgate.com. Follow us on social media. It's just @Splitgate. But that's really where we're posting about giveaways, or posting about alpha tests. So if you don't have a key yet, definitely join our Discord or follow us, and we'll be doing a key giveaway later this week.
And you've done giveaways in the past too with like computer components, and you've even done charity streams already, right?
Yep. Yeah. That's something we're really passionate about. So,
guys, all those links he just mentioned will be in the description down below in case you guys are interested. And Ian, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me, man.
Yeah, thanks so much.